Hello, everyone, and welcome to the very first episode of our Industry and Pathway podcast series. I'm Madan Raj Dharmalingam, and I'll be your host as we bring you conversations with leading professionals from different industries, uncovering their journey, the academic pathway that help them succeed, and essential skills students need to thrive in the modern workplace. Today, I'm honored to be journeyed by a remarkable leader in the technology and business world, Mr. Sampath Jayasundara. Mr. Sampath Jayasundara is the Chief Executive Officer, Senate Business Solution PLC, and People HR, a globally recognized technology organization focused on human capital management and HR digital transformation, with over 25 years of experience in the IT industry. Sampath's journey began as a developer and has taken him to leadership roles spanning business development, operations, executive strategies, culminating in the leadership at some of the Sri Lanka's most influential tech companies. Beyond his corporate leadership, he is a co-founder and director of Pioneer Institute of Business and Technology, where he actively contributes to shape academic programs aligned with industry needs. He also serves as the vice chairman at SLASCOM, the National Chamber of Sri Lankan Software and Service Industry, playing a key role in fostering innovation, entrepreneurship, and talent development in the tech ecosystem. Welcome, Mr. Sampath.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me.
Mr. Sampath, when it comes to industry and pathways, how industry take them through a pathway to become a leader in the industry. What's your point of view in that?
So you're talking about an individual journey?
Yes, an industry.
So it's very interesting because today things are changing rapidly. So very difficult even a person to think about 3 to 5 year time horizon. So you have to look at what is happening now. And based on that, you have to fine tune your skill set. Today, the whole world is more focusing on building a solid skill set, going into deep tech areas or business areas, and polishing a skill set, and you are ready to start your journey. And even after starting your journey, if you want to retain within an organization, and if you want to grow, you have to keep acquiring new knowledge. So new knowledge acquisition becomes so crucial if someone want to grow within an industry.
Great. From your perspective, how is AI changing the way companies structure their teams and their roles?
Yeah, that's a very interesting era we all are in. If you follow World Economic Forum, some of the suggestions, they consider current year as AI tsunami. So we are in a AI tsunami era. So organization structures are changing around this. If you really look at, if someone is setting up a new organization today, so they will develop an organization as agile organization, and sometime maybe you assemble a team of professionals who have different set of skills in different diverse fields. So let's say if you are starting a tech company, so there should be a business person who can take the business to the field. You need a tech person who understand and govern the technology area. Likewise, you might assemble few critical roles, and those roles become maybe ownership of the company. Rest of the people who are contributing to this organization is all about assembling skill set. It is not, sometimes company might not recruit even full-time people in next era we are talking about. So they will assemble set of skills. I need this particular UI UX skill. I'll find a person from whatever part of the world to get that skill set. Your requirement may be 20 hours per week. So you will assemble that skill for your organization. So the leadership responsibility is to find where's the skill set for tomorrow's needs and assembling that skill set and get the work done. And this is exactly telling with gig economy expectation, because our Gen Z and Gen Alpha generation, the expectation also that they don't expect you to work full time in an organization, committing your 100% time. So there's opportunity for them also to contribute based on your knowledge to maybe even multiple companies. So that's how organizations are changing, especially tech and even some of the non-tech fields during next, I would say, 3 to 5 years.
Exactly said. So, as you said, are companies really losing a job because of AI, or any simply changing roles and its expectations?
Yeah, is again very interesting. Of course, when this change start, immediate result would be losing jobs. I agree with you up to certain level, and you can see like globally what is happening with big companies and even mid-sized companies, and there's no difference in the Sri Lankan market as well. But we have to understand if you build the right skill set, there'll be new opportunities. Now, simple example: we have never heard about a role called prompt engineering. So if someone is developing a skill set around that, you can be a valuable resource for a company. So my recommendation is like, let's say, don't get fear about losing a job, but target on building a skill set for tomorrow. So when you lose certain set of jobs, obviously there'll be many more opportunities. We have seen this happening in web era. Internet came into picture somewhere around mid 90s, and lot of work, internet and related technologies took over. But what happens, like there's so much of new opportunities emerge. So I would say there will be a time gap. So immediately, certain set of people might lose their opportunities, but same time, over next 3 to 5 years, there will be bunch of new opportunities will emerge. So you have to focus your skill set and change your game plan. So you'll have a new job.
Exactly said. So, where do you see your next 5 or 10 years? How do you think the job market is going to evolve?
So that's what we all have to develop curiosity and look around what is really happening and what are the new technologies around our environment. So I'll take examples like from different industries. Now, if you really look at, let's say, tech industry, where I'm coming from. So tech industry, traditional developers' role is changing. So company might not need a developer anymore. But assume like, company will come up with a new role. We call it lifecycle engineer. So that means like, so it is like we are going back to somewhere around 1990s where we start software development work. We used to go to a client side, understand the customer, collect the customer requirement, then come back and like, start documenting that requirement, then come up with a proper design for that. Then we start doing the development work. We used to do the quality assurance work. And same time, we got involved in the deployment phase as well. And look at the customer and customer satisfaction. I would say it's an end-to-end role from understanding customer requirement, and delivering a solutions to customer. So if the software engineer is not ready to do that end-to-end role, you can't just be a coder anymore. So that part will take over the technology. And if you look at like, let's say cloud code, or like, any other systems available, like, and very interesting era. So maybe like, I developed my last program maybe late 90s. But today I can be a developer. I can write a software code with the right set of tools. So that's how things changing. Not only that, like a simple example, let's say traditional manufacturing company. So right now the movement is actually semi-automated environment. So you have the person, and you have the machine, and you have the technology. So that's the era we are getting in. But future, sometimes a person can replace with fully automated cycle. Okay, so then the person who are doing a very traditional job with a machine might have to find a niche area. So not only IT industry wave is pretty fast, because technology start from there, like, but all other industries will change during next 3 to 5 years, I would say.
Very well said. As you said, now the traditional IT and software engineers are losing their job because of they are doing the same thing again and again for a period of time, and they couldn't come out of that loop again. So, how would you prefer? What do you think like would change them, and what do you think should be changed in their working professional things?
I don't agree for losing jobs. As I told you earlier, it can be a temporary thing. My advice to software engineers and even graduates passing out from Sri Lankan universities. So you target your skill set. If you target your skill set, there'll be opportunities. Sometimes when you start your job, when you start your degree, you might feel this is a high demand job category. But the challenge is when you complete the degree after 3 to 4 years, that might have changed. Okay, so during the period, university period, you have to look at what is the new skill set required by the industry. If you change yourself to face this challenge, I don't think there'll be a challenge to find a job. It's all about how do you going to change yourself for tomorrow's demand. So that's very important. I'll give you a simple example. My daughter start doing a data science degree in Australia with Australian University. So halfway when she start the degree, data science area is one of the highest demand area in Australia, and especially when the if someone were to migrate and whatever, that is 3 years back situation or maybe 4 years back situation. But halfway we realize demand going down. Why? Because if company earlier depend on 10 data science engineers, now can deal with 2 with the right set of technologies. So why do you need 10 to do two engineers job? So I guide my daughter to AI path. So while doing the data science degree, you get into AI roles. So you look at how AI is contributing to data science, how AI is contributing to technology area. So finally, when she passed out from the uni, straight away she got the job in a reputed organization, and her current role is AI engineer, not a data science engineer. So if you change understanding the market demand, obviously you will have a new role to play. Because of that, I don't agree people losing jobs, but you have a window. Even Sri Lanka, let's say, I would say there can be a 6 to 9 months window for a developer to change. So if you fail to change, of course, you might lose a job. But if you adapt and change and learn new technologies, sky's the limit.
So that was the next question exactly that you answered now. So yes, skill sets you have to develop from the day one from the universities. When you start, you have to develop some skill sets. So what would be your advice to other fields like business and law, which we didn't speak about in the era, because we are talking about a lot about IT and losing jobs, other things and everything. But there is a significant difference happening in other fields as well, business and law, different things. So where would you see yourself in those fields?
Yeah, interesting. Because if you look at the university system, there are so many different programs, and we value all these different programs. Okay, because everyone is learning a particular subject in detail, at length, and with research skills. So my advice for them now, traditional roles are disappearing. Now, simple example, HR executive, the activities HR executive handles will disappear. Traditional activities, assistant lawyer, a lawyer who is assisting your main lawyer might disappear. Why? Technology will do the summarization and collect all the content and guide or write the script for the case. So then why do you need a junior lawyer to do that? So because of that, so even finance department, if you look at traditional accountant job will disappear. Why? If AI can do better financing, let's say accounts preparation, monthly accounts, and support for budgets, cash flow statements, all these information generated by AI and AI-related applications. So why do you need a very basic entry-level account assistant or accountant? So their responsibilities to look at this in a different way. So I'm an accountant. So can I absorb the new technology knowledge? So my recommendation for a individual, so if you invest around 20 hours to learn something new, you can get the basic knowledge. This is my practice. If I want to learn something new, I'll keep on investing 20 hours. That is roughly 1 hour per day for next 20 days. You will learn. So accountant should know how to use AI and related technologies in the new era. So if you polish your skill set around technology, despite of your field of operation, you can survive and you can grow, because demand will be for the HR executive or the accountant or lawyer with the right set of technology understanding. how to operate technology in your field. So their demand will increase. So while traditional roles are disappearing, but there'll be new roles will come up with technology know-how.
Okay, great. So in this case, mostly as I see the roles, as you said, like accountants and the lawyers, who are not much with technology, as we say, like they are not much with the technological changes. So what would be your advice for them to maybe like increase their skills and how to survive in the new changing, rapidly changing era? What would be your advice for them?
Yeah, I think first of all, adaptability is one of the most important skill to learn. If you can't adapt to the new era, you're out. So technology is changing everywhere. And also even World Economic Forum highlight learn, unlearn, and relearn as one of the most demanding skill set. I repeat that: learn, unlearn, and relearn. So sometimes, very difficult to relearn also without unlearning. So you have to practice how to unlearn and then relearn what required to learn for the future. So that's very important. And also there are so many resources available online. Like there are multiple podcasts and so many different learning channels, resource centers. People can start learning. As I told you earlier also, if someone is willing to invest time for learning, obviously you can learn. So my recommendation is get rid of time wasters. I don't have to name. We all know, there are many time wasters, scrolling on a mobile on social media. You can do maybe 2 to 3 minutes just to maybe release your stress. Okay, but if you are doing that for hours, it's a time waste. Okay, so rather than doing that, why don't you get into a video podcast and learn new technology? Especially your field is very important. You have to look at how your field is changing with the support of technology, especially with AI.
Great. So, and how this shift, the rapid shift, in helpful to students who are coming from the schools. They are kind of getting into higher educations, and some students are still in the schools. So, how would you say, what would be your advice for them to come up in their career in this sectors?
Yeah. So most importantly, when you look at a career or doing a degree, look at your interest areas as well. So let's assume if someone like to play cricket, and if you have the right skill set, I recommend him to play cricket, and not only the interest, but with the right skill set. Okay. So if someone is let's say very good in gaming technology, so I rather recommend that person to get into software industry and get into the gaming industry. These are huge industries if you really look at with great potential. So first look at your competent areas, your competencies. If you can't discover that, go to a mentor, have a nice chat with a mentor or industry leader, and share your views. Get into a nice chat to discover your potential. Based on that, you have to select a degree area. Sometimes people are saying there are multiple waves coming and going out. Let's say people start doing accountancy qualification so many years back. Then people start doing all IT related program despite of your interest area or the A-level subjects you followed. So my recommendation is look at your interest area and look at your skill set. Based on that, select a degree program. There's a myth. A lot of people are telling now IT era is over. No, it's not so. Look at opportunities available with AI. It's all about new set of opportunities. Okay, so if you get into technology era, there are so many opportunities, but you can't just be a traditional developer or traditional qualification engineer. That era is gone. So, but industry will thrive because all other industries can govern by the technology industry, because every industry needs technology. If you look at agriculture, if you look at hospitality or whatever industry, look at hospitals, they are dependent on technology. So technology is not dead. Because I overheard some of the conversations saying that now no point of doing IT degree, we should get into other fields. It's not the way to think. But you need that passion. That is very important. If you don't have that passion, then no point. So if you have the right passion, you get into whatever industry. IT industry is a good industry to grow, or the business field, or the law profession, engineering profession. So this depend on your interest and your competencies. I would say rather better look at these two areas. What is your interest and what's your skill set? Based on that, look at starting a degree soon as possible. And also while doing the degree, it is very, very important to acquire ongoing skill requirements. That is very, very important. Because 3 year or 4 year degree period, you have enough time to acquire a new set of skills. If you do that, again, I'm telling sky's the limit, whatever field you are in.
So where there is a will, there is a way. So in that case, where do you see this higher education in the industry when it comes to from industrial to from traditional schools to when they come out of schools? Where do you see how much opportunities this higher education industry gives to these students? Now I think we have different industries growing in the field. We have a lot of institutions coming into the market, and a lot of new skills are coming in, new opportunities are glowing up. So how do you think, what would be your advice to the school students who are coming out of traditional schooling?
Yeah. So my advice is, let's say you do a O levels or A levels. There are multiple tracks today. So even you can do O levels and do a foundation program and get into a degree to fast track your life. Okay. Or else, if you want to go through a formal education, you do your O levels and you get into A levels 2 year program. So you complete your A levels and get into a degree as soon as possible. Going back and doing A levels again and again, I usually think that's not the recommended way, because let's say in 1980s or 90s, we didn't had private education in the country. So there's no choice. If you want to get into a university degree, and you have to do again and again and somehow get into a government university. But today's opportunities are different. So my recommendation is fast as possible, start a good program on your choice, and start your learning career. That is very important. And while doing your degree, understand the skill set required for that particular field. And there are so much of online resources, and there are a lot of podcasts like this, happening to guide the students what to do, not to do, and stuff like that. So we'll support the student base to guide for a better career. So once they complete the degree, so they can getting into a good field straight away, and further develop on their skill set. So look at not only local opportunities, look at global opportunities as a student. But you have to be competitive. That is very important. If the student is not competitive, and no way you can move forward. This is happening in India. This is happening in Vietnam. Why can't Sri Lankans develop the right skill set and be a global competitive resource? So that can help the country as well.
That's true. So as you said, we have to come out of this traditional mindset of being allocated for this A levels and then go for this state universities, looking at this for more than 5 years. In this 5 years, the industry is going to change rapidly, and it's going to give you hard time. So as soon as possible, if you could finish a degree or the qualification that you acquire, and when you come to the industry, as you said, that would be an advantage for the person who is coming first out of the skills.
Yeah. So the why university degree, if someone asks, that will give you the foundation knowledge. Yes. Foundation knowledge can be critical when you acquire knowledge on ongoing basis. So university will give that foundation knowledge, fundamentals. So invest time on this and exploration. Okay. Your approach towards solving a problem. So that's education you are getting from a formal university. But don't limit your learning only to a degree program. So start following different programs and polish your skill set on ongoing basis, so you're competitive.
Great, well said. So with that note, we are going to close this podcast session, and we'll be doing this podcast session as a series, and we are going to bring many industrial experts into the podcast session, and we are going to discuss different things as we discussed today, and we are going to guide the upcoming students and the professionals who are already in the industry to grow their career, to grow in their field as they want. Thank you, Mr. Sampath, for being here. And do you have anything else to add on to this, one?
I think stay positive and look at global changes happening. Let's say think about this change and ready to be a change agent. So that's my recommendation for upcoming leaders and students.
Great. So thanks for joining with us, and thanks for the more insightful informations that you have shared with us to grow their careers and to grow in their field. I think
Yeah, thank you, Matan. Thank you for the invitation, and hope everyone enjoys it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We'll meet again.